Walk-offs, weird endings, and the Padres are the first team to 10 wins. What injury bug? The Dodgers aren't far behind them either. Plus, the Yankees, the Marlins, the Rangers, and the Giants, they salvaged their series today and avoid getting the old broom. We've got the local experts from your favorite Locked On MLB shows and so much more. It's time for Locked On MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? My name is John Frisch. I'm one half of Locked On Angels. My co-host tonight, Mr. Jake Riepma. How you doing, my friend?
Good and getting better, John. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And hey, we got a lot to get to, so I won't spend too much time telling you about my natty bucket hat if you're watching on YouTube. But for those listening, it is a black, pink, and light blue Texas Rangers bucket hat. It was the giveaway a couple of days ago at Globe Life Field. I have no idea what it has to do with the Texas Rangers, but I'm sporting it this evening.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, coming up on today's show, the Mariners march back against the Houston Astros. You heard of getting big leagued? Well, the Angels got little leagued. We'll tell you more about that. Plus, the NL West is heating up and leading the pack in terms of wins right now. So we'll get into all those details. But first, we want to thank our friends over at Monarch Money for sponsoring today's episode. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. Jake, let's get right into it and talk about those Padres who said, you know what? No Tatis, no Jackson Merrill, no Cronenworth. We could still get to 10 wins first, can't we?
Sure can. The Padres, make no mistake about it, are kicking butt and taking names. I mean, this is a team that a lot of people somehow doubted and for maybe not for good reason, but we just know the type of juggernaut of a division that the West is, and it's early, but the Padres are off to a great start and counting on contributions from guys that you wouldn't necessarily expect, and it speaks to the depth on that Padres team.
Yeah, Oscar Gonzalez got promoted on Tuesday to take Jackson Merrill's place, tied the game with a third inning single, then a little help from Xander Bogaerts, 3 for 5, led off the inning. The fifth inning with a double, came around to score on a sacrifice fly. On the other side of things, the A's were the losing team in this one, 2-1 again in favor of the Padres. So with that, we're going to hop on over to Booney from Locked On A's to get a little bit more insight into how this one went down. Let's hear from Booney right now.
What's up, Booney?
Booney. Here we go, Booney.
Booney from Locked On A's. Today's rubber match in a 3-game set against the San Diego Padres in Sacramento was touted to be an offensive explosion. Instead, it was a pitcher's duel between Osvaldo Bido of the A's and Randy Vasquez of the Padres. A sacrifice fly in the fifth inning by Gavin Sheets made it 2-1 Padres, and from there, San Diego's bullpen slammed the door on the A's. 2-1 final, San Diego in Sacramento. Let's call it what it is. The middle of the order for the A's lineup was missing all series long. Butler, Rooker, Langoliers, a combined 4 for 36 in the 3-game set. You can't win a series like that. I predicted the A's to win the West, but stars needed to be stars. And right now, the stars are making me look like a dud. Bright spot, Jacob Wilson, 14-game hit streak going back to last year. The dude is absolutely legit. A's are going to be just fine. Don't sleep on them. They're coming.
Don't sleep on the A's, Booney says. Well, as an AL West rival, I got to say, I appreciate the enthusiasm for the Sacramento A's, but obviously everyone knows my Angels are sneaking into the postseason this year with a let's say, you know what? First place, AL West. Let's go. I'm calling it right now.
Well, Booney called it for the A's. You call it for the Angels, and I'm just going to wholeheartedly disagree with both you guys. Doesn't mean I don't love you guys, because I do, but Are you guys? I'll have what you're having. Because
Yeah, someone's got to be reasonable around here, right, Jake? Exactly. So yeah, first for the Padres to make it to 10 wins, and the Dodgers were not far behind. We'll get to them in just a second, but before we get there, let's talk about the Giants versus the Reds. 8-6 in favor of the Giants. They stopped their skid, took their 9th win of the season. They avoid getting swept by the Cincinnati Reds. They came back, Jake, from a 6-1 deficit. And then who else but Mike Yastrzemski bringing the dramatics, right?
Oh, no doubt about it. A little walk-off action. What was it? Sunday, we had like 5 walk-offs. We had quite a few of them. Yastrzemski said, hey, that looks like a lot of fun. Let's get into it. And he makes a little splash in McCovey Cove, which, by the way, can we all agree? I mean, no disrespect to your Angels, but that the Oracle Park might be the most beautiful ballpark in all the land. I mean, it's got that for.
That's a fantastic ballpark. It's amazing out there. Hey, for more, let's go to Locked On Giants with a little more insight.
I drive to right. It is out of here. Mike Yastrzemski with a walk-off splash hit as the Giants come all the way back, down 5-0, down 6-1. After getting shut out 2 games in a row, it felt like just another demoralizing loss was coming and that you were going to get swept by the Reds and end up with a 3-3 homestand after starting out 3-0. But instead, the Giants offense rallied. They scored 7 unanswered runs, 7 unanswered runs. A lot of unanswered runs. Justin Verlander was not at his best again. That is a concern, but this is just a great win for this team that improves to 9-3, the second best record in the major leagues. And off day tomorrow, cross-country flight. It was just an important game to come back and win for morale. So we'll break it down. We've got a podcast coming up next on Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
Jake, you mentioned Justin Verlander, and you think about him and Scherzer kind of together just because they're older, they're more old school. I'm looking at the line from Verlander today: 5 2/3, 6 runs, 5 earned, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. I mean, a lot of runs, a lot of strikeouts. I don't know, man. I mean, like, he's a surefire Hall of Famer, but what do you think of him at this point of his career? How you feeling?
This is one that pains me to say out loud. And in all honesty, this is where I really hope I am wrong, but it just looks like Father Time has caught up, and Father Time is undefeated. And it's a shame because honestly, and Justin Verlander, growing up in the Motor City, watching Justin Verlander every 5th day through some of the prime of his career was just an incredible gift to all spectators. We used to call it must-see JV, and the electricity when you walked into Comerica Park because Justin Verlander was on the mound, it was just unlike anything you could experience for a little wide-eyed, chubby 12-year-old like myself. So Justin Verlander, like you said, surefire Hall of Famer. The list of accolades goes on, but I'm worried that Father Time has caught up.
Yeah, man, how did you guys not win the World Series with that rotation?
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I still have PTSD over that. I mean, you got Max Scherzer in that, Rick Porcello. The list goes on. Miguel Cabrera on offense. Oh man, don't make let's not talk about that, because now you got Justin Verlander playing for the Giants, the team that beat that 2012 team in the World Series.
That's true.
And you got Pablo Sandoval, the Panda, welcoming in, waving, and Justin Verlander's there in the background. And oh yeah, he hit 2 home runs off Verlander in that game 1. I still think about it way too often.
Well, you bring up the fact that Max Scherzer was part of that rotation, and he took a trip through LA at one point with the Dodgers. And today the Dodgers beat the Nationals 6-5. They salvaged their series against the Nationals. They had 4 runs in the top of the first before there was even an out recorded. We're going to head on over to Locked On Dodgers. I believe we've got Jeff here. He's going to tell us more about this game.
I sometimes do these post-game videos without a hat on, but I didn't want you guys to see that I pulled all my hair out. What's up? It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. Dodgers end this awful road trip with a win. They win 6-5 over the Nationals in a game that they started up 4-0, then were down 5-4, eventually came back took the lead, and overcoming adversity, Blake Trinan held on to that, a bloop single and a walk, and of course some stolen bases because Blake Trinan's on the mound. But in the end, Kike Hernandez defense saved Blake Trinan. Dodgers win the game. The bullpen continues to be great. That was the only inning that any Dodgers relievers even gave up any hits after Landon Knack only made it through 2 1/3 innings. Dodger bullpen ERA is down to 1.95 on the season. Dodgers are 10-4, heading home to the nice weather, hopefully some more wins. Check it all out on Locked On Dodgers on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts.
Jake, let me give you a rundown of the NL West currently. The Padres 10-3. Of course, again, they got there right ahead of the Dodgers, who are 10-4. But in second place is the Giants, 9-3. They have a better winning percentage. Dodgers, of course, 10-4. Diamondbacks, 7-6. And the lowly Rockies, 2-9. We're going to talk about that Rockies and Brewers game a little bit later on. But we want to thank you for being here for MLB Game Night. We've got more around the league, including the Mariners with some offense. The Mariners? Seattle with offense? Yeah, it's true. You better believe it. We're going to get into that coming right up. There we go. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Wonderful Pistachios. You knew I'd get there eventually. Hey, listen, we had an everydayer reach out to us and say, hey, I'm so glad you recommended Wonderful Pistachios because my son has a peanut allergy. He's 4 years old. He feels unincluded at the ball game. And he said, I'm going to get him some pistachios because he can crack them open and it's the perfect snack for baseball season. So you can head on over to wonderfulpistachios.com, the snack that's most delicious and nutritious, filled with a good source of protein. It's one of the highest protein nuts, with each 1 ounce serving having 6 grams of protein, giving you 10% of your daily value. They're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats. The perfect grab and go snack for busy days. And if you're like our everydayer who said, this is the perfect one for my son, you can get the in-shell variety, or if you just want to eat them by the handful, you can get the out-of-shell variety. So get snackin' and get crackin' with a snack that packs a protein punch. Bring some to the ball game and take it with you. Visit Wonderful Pistachios to learn more. This is Locked On MLB Game Night. After the last out of the last game, you can count on us to be here for you, breaking it all down with the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Jake, let's keep it going. I told you, the Astros and the Mariners got together. They kept us up late the other night with their extra inning game, but the Mariners make a huge comeback in this one, don't they?
Yeah, this was the rubber match of the 3-game series, and the Astros get off to a great start, up 4-0, make it 5-0 before, how about this, John? 7 runs combined by the Mariners in the final 2 innings. Just a complete, absolute choke job by the Astros bullpen, because the strength of this Astros team, the starting pitching, the offense comes around in this game, and they still can't get out of their own way. And they end up gagging this game away, 7-6, the final. And both these teams, despite Seattle winning 2 out of the 3 and taking the series, both these teams kind of stumbling coming out of the gates.
Definitely. And you know, where the offense came from, Randy Arozarena, it's a grand slam. Julio Rodriguez hits a 2-run double. Those are the guys you need to come through if you're the Seattle Mariners. So they certainly did that. Arozarena walks it off with a bases loaded walk off, I should say, to walk it off. For more, we're going to go to Ty Dane Gonzalez of Locked On Mariners. Here we go.
No idea what I just watched. Ahoy. This is Ty Dane Gonzalez, host of the Locked On Mariners podcast. What just happened? Anyone? Because I'm having a hard time processing the baseball game that just transpired at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners were so bad last night, and they picked up right where they left off offensively with just a frustrating, mind-numbing 7 innings of offense. Generated traffic, couldn't put any runs across the plate. Par for the course for the 2025 Mariners so far. And then everything just flipped in the 8th inning. Randy Arozarena hits a grand slam, brings them within one. It's like, okay, well, I guess, they just had to make it a one-run game, of course, but that's probably going to be it, right? This offense isn't going to be able to generate enough runs, especially in a 2-inning span, to be able to win this game and stun the Astros. Well, that's what they wound up doing. Julio Rodriguez with a clutch 2-run double on a fastball on the bottom outside corner of the plate that he just slapped into right field, down 0-2 against Brian Abreu, who has historically owned Julio. That was awesome. And then Randy Arozarena, walk-off walk. 5 ribbies for Randy in this game. Colby and I just recorded a post-game show. It'll be up soon. We'll talk to you guys then. Peace.
Jake, how is it we have 2 walk-off walks in 2 days? That's insane.
We talked about Little League at the beginning of the show tonight. It does sound a little bit Little League-like. But real quick on the Astros, Hunter Brown, I mean, he was really, really good today. Yeah. 6 innings, and, that's a really, really tough luck loss when you think about it from the other perspective with the Houston Astros. And Hunter Brown, a guy, really neat story, a Division II college player that's made it all the way to the bigs and been one of the more prolific starters in that rotation. So I know that's all part of the game. You chalk it up to the game, but man, that is a tough way to earn a no decision, because he gave his team every chance to win with 6 scoreless.
Absolutely. Hey, let's take it over to the Rangers versus the Cubs. We've been talking all week about how the Rangers need offense. They got it yesterday, but the Cubs had a little bit more. Today, this one went in favor of the Texas Rangers. So rep that bucket hat well, my friend. It was a 6-2 victory. This one saw Corey Seager hit 2 home runs in this one. Jonah Heim had a homer as well. That's what you want if you're the Texas Rangers, isn't it, Jake?
You're absolutely correct. And there was a thought that, okay, Corey Seager hits a home run on Sunday against the Rays, and it was against a lefty, and you think, all right, maybe he's busting out of this slow start a little bit and then struggled a little bit in the first 2 games. But make no mistake about it, Jock Peterson has struggled out of the gates. Marcus Semien has really struggled out of the gates. In fact, in Rangers camp, they're already saying, just as I said with Justin Verlander, that Father Time has caught up. That's what seems to be the consensus in Rangers fan circles, that Father Time has caught up to Marcus Semien. You have him leading off, and he has really struggled. So this was very, very refreshing to see for the Texas Rangers, for the bats to come alive, because they had not up until this point. And anytime you can avoid a sweep, that's obviously a good thing as well. But this team with Corey Seager, he's the heart and soul of this team. They will go as far as he'll take them.
Yeah, and Corey Seager has every case in the world to be the American League MVP for sure. Let's go over to Locked On Cubs for a little insight from the other side of this one. Here we go.
Well, you can't win them all, as they say. The Cubs get beat 6-2 by Texas in the series finale Wednesday afternoon at Wrigley Field. I'm Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs. Coming into this game, the Cubs probably had the hottest offense in all of baseball, but Tyler Mahle said, nope, not anymore, because he shut the Cubs down. A lot of lazy fly balls today. Shota Imanaga wasn't at his best either. Not a game that really frustrates you, not a game that you lose too much sleep over. It's just one of those reminders that over the course of 162, you're going to have games like this. So when you are in control, when you do feel like you should win a game, maybe Sunday against the Padres or the Sunday before against Arizona, those games are so imperative to close out, because over the course of the year, you're going to have days where other teams just better than you. That's how baseball works, and that was the case Wednesday afternoon. The Cubs will get a much-needed day off on Thursday before traveling to Dodger Stadium to see Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Tyler Glasnow. Catch Locked On Cubs for all the information, a Justin Steele injury update, and everything else that you could get Cubs related.
I got to be honest with you, the weather out here, it's too hot, man. It's Southern California. It's April. I still would like to have a little bit of spring weather, but it's been hot, man. So for the Cubs and even the Dodgers to come home to meet each other this weekend, I think everybody's going to enjoy playing in that weather. Jake, let's take it over to Yankees versus Tigers. It was a 4-3 Yankees win. Another team salvaging their series, right, Jake?
You're absolutely correct. And this was an interesting game because for 6 innings of baseball, both teams were just having their starting pitching mow down the opposition. Jack Flaherty for the Tigers, Max Fried for the Yankees, and Fried just outlasted Flaherty. And Flaherty really solid final line, 5 2/3. 9 strikeouts. And for Frisch, he goes even further, 7 innings with 11 strikeouts. So you're watching, this is one of those games where you're watching it's going by so fast because both pitchers are just having their way. And then unfortunately for the Tigers, that Yankee offense finally breaks through. And after a shutout in game 2 of the series, you felt like the bats would eventually wake up. And oddly enough, the Tigers actually gifted the Yankees several extra outs in that 9th inning. It was a 2-0 game. And with the extra outs, the Yankees, of course, are going to make you pay. So they make it a 4-0 game in the top of the 9th. You think this is over, right? Not so fast. The gritty Tigers, they come back and score 3 runs in the home half of the 9th. Zach McKinstry with a 2-run single, but too little, too late. The hole was just too great to climb out of. So 4-3, Tigers wrap up the 6-game homestand. 5-1, you'll take that. And unfortunately, they couldn't complete the sweep, but 5-1 homestand, and they've really shaken off the opening weekend sweep that they felt at the hands of the Dodgers. Still off to a good start this season. Now we'll play a divisional opponent in the Minnesota Twins.
Let's hear from Locked On Yankees to get a little bit more insight on this 4-3 victory for the Bronx Bombers. Here we go.
Yankees win Game 3 of the series, 4-3 against Detroit behind an ace performance from Max Fried, his Yankee-defining moment. They head back to the Bronx to take on the Giants this weekend after finishing the road trip 3-3. A lot of positives to find after this game. You can catch all of it on Locked On Yankees this upcoming week and the rest of the week, everywhere you get your podcasts and on YouTube.
Man, are you familiar with Ben Rice, Jake? Ben Rice?
I am after today. He was the only Yankee that had an extra base hit in yesterday's game, and goes with the 2-run homer in today's game. And tough place to hit it out, in particular at Comerica Park, obviously a pitcher's park, but even furthermore in that right center gap, he got a hold of it for the 2-run bomb.
Yeah, nobody better be sleeping on Ben Rice. In fact, if you're playing some fantasy baseball and he's out there, pick him up like I did, because I've been the benefactor of some fine cooking from Ben Rice. We're going to continue our look around the league. Oh, go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
I love Uncle Ben's rice. Speaking of fine
exactly.
So this is the microwave Ben Rice.
The easiest layup of all time with that Ben Rice name. Exactly. We're going to continue our look around the league as we get into the rest of what happened today in just a minute. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. If you ever checked your bank account and you wondered, where'd all my money go? Sometimes my wife and I will we'll buy something online, we'll, treat ourselves, and then somebody else says, hey, honey, did you buy something today? Did you Amazon something today? So it's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in. They're your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, and you can stop managing your money and start building your wealth. Managing your money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. They're already saving you money. Look at that. Come on, Monarch Money. Let's go. monarchmoney.com is where you want to go. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. All right, back at it here with my co-host, my partner in crime, Jake Riepma. Hey, we've been talking about that Marlins and Mets series. The Marlins salvaged themselves a series, and now Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins, he doesn't need a hug anymore, right, Jake?
I'm glad to hear that, because he was sad, Jeremiah, yesterday.
I felt bad for him, but he got the win. His team got the win. Let's hear from Jeremiah right now.
Max Meyer was absolutely dominant today against the Mets. What's up, guys? It's Jeremiah Geiger from Locked On Marlins. To avoid getting swept in this 3-game series, it rested upon the right arm of Max Meyer, and he was nothing short of brilliant today, pitching into the 7th inning, and he had a no-hitter for a while as well. In the end, struck out 4, only gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 1/3 innings. Very efficient day for him. and he continues to have a really strong start to the season. Marlins shut out the Mets 5-0. It was a close game up until the top of the ninth, in which Matt Mervis hit a big 2-run jack to really put the game out of reach. That followed a Jonah Bride RBI single, so really good to see Bride kind of snap a really cold start to the season. But the story of this game was the pitching. Only 2 hits allowed. Max Meyer was fantastic, and this Marlins pitching staff, they needed that after giving up 10 runs the game before. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, don't sleep on Max Meyer. That's another name that people are going to want to know and be familiar with. Edwin Diaz gave up 3 runs in this one, Jake. So what's up with these great closers struggling to start the year? I mean, Emmanuel Clase's issues go back to the playoffs last year. In fact, it looked like he was going to struggle against the White Sox as the Guardians won this one 3-2. Jake, are the White Sox cursed? Is this legit curse?
Based on the way this game ended, you think they might actually be, in fact, cursed. And I was doing a little research on this before the show started. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bulls, not real well liked right now. Sure. And it's certainly understandable. But the way this game ended, you've got a 3-1 lead for the Guardians and 2 runners on. A hit into the outfield, rounding third, 1 run scores. The next runner tweaks a hamstring on his way into home plate and obviously goes down, and the tag is made, and that's how this game ends.
Yeah, Mike Tauchman doesn't want to talk about the way this game ended, but you know who does want to talk about it is our host from Locked On Guardians. Let's hear from them.
You can't spell weird without a W. That's 2 weird wins in a row for the Guardians. They win. They beat the White Sox, throwing out a runner at the plate on what would have tied the game because the White Sox runner came up limp against Emmanuel Clase. Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. Not another good one for Emmanuel Clase. A lot of balls in play found their way into the grass. Not what you want from your all-world closer. Still trying to figure it out early in the season. But the good news is for the Guardians, 7 walks. The bullpen was good except for some weird things that happened to Clase. And they're finding ways to win games when they're not playing their best baseball. And sometimes you need that in a 162-game season while the Guardians are still trying to find the best way to make things click this year. They did work 7 walks. Carlos Santana hit a home run on a night that I didn't think anybody could get the ball out of the ballpark, and it was a blast. 2, Logan Allen was okay, except for the fact that he had a long first inning thanks to another Jose Ramirez error. He's more than halfway to last year's total. So a lot of weird baseball. The Guardians are not playing their best baseball, but that's 2 wins in a row. I know it's against an inferior team they should be beating, but it is what it is. In a long season, you got to find a way to grind things out and find a way to win while you're still trying to figure out how things best click for you. So the Guardians 2 in a row, that's a series. They'll go for the sweep with Gavin Williams on the mound. They need a rebound start from him. You can hear about more of that on Locked On Guardians, as well as what the Guardians will do at DH when David Fry comes back. So tune in for more on that.
Yeah, another weird ending for a Guardians game. And speaking of, it's not such a weird ending, but this Cardinals-Pirates game was scoreless until the 12th inning, Jake. And the Cards get one. Tommy Pham ties it. And with the bases loaded, Joey Bart walks it off. They just let that one fall. They didn't even bother catching that one and going for the sacrifice fly. They just let the Pirates take that one, right?
Well, this was interesting because following Major League Baseball during the day games, each game was well into the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning before any team was scoring. And it just was a snapshot in time of how much Major League Baseball offenses have struggled all throughout the league. And I think this game going to the 12th inning is that exemplified in one game. But nonetheless, the finding a way to win for the Pirates. Yeah, I've told you this. I've told anybody that listens to my shows, I can't stand the runner on second to start extra innings. But when both teams can't score a run, maybe you actually have to do that. So all is well that ends well for the Pirates there.
Let's hear a little bit more from Locked On Pirates. Let's go.
It's walked off the Cardinals in 13 innings, 2-1, and they take the series 2-1. Hi, I'm Gary from Locked On Pirates. Today's story really kind of got lost in how the game ended. It was the starting pitchers. Eric Fetty was great, and so was Mitch Keller. Both of them impeccable today. 7.1 innings from Mitch Keller, 6 innings from Eric Fetty of no-hit baseball. He did walk 4, but he handed over a clean slate to the St. Louis Cardinals bullpen, and they kept it clean until it got to extras. The Pirates did the same. And finally, Joey Bart put it away in the 13th inning with what looked to be a double, but it's going to be credited as a single, I think. And finally drove home Alexander Canario. Boy, an awful lot of strange decisions were made in this game by both sides of the management spectrum. It seemed for a while like Marmol and Shelton were competing for which one could make the dumbest or most off-the-wall decisions with their lineup and substitutions. Either way, good to get this series win. Pirates really needed it. Now we head to another division opponent here on Friday after a day off. That's what we're going to be talking about on Locked On Pirates tomorrow morning.
There it is, Locked On Pirates with a breakdown there for us. Let's head on over to the Orioles versus the Diamondbacks. 9-0 Diamondbacks. They had a huge 5-run inning for the Diamondbacks. Pavin Smith, 2-run home run. Josh Naylor, our combined mortal enemy, for your Tigers, and he always haunted my Halos. He hits a home run, and Tim Tawa gets a 2-run single. Diamondbacks just all over the Orioles in this one. And then the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. This one goes to the 11th. Bo Bichette gets the go-ahead sacrifice fly. Jake, is Bo back this season?
I love that you put that in the rundown. Is Bo back? He is so back. I had him on my fantasy team not too long ago, and he wasn't back then, let me tell you. But the name in and of itself, Bo Bichette, you have to be good at baseball with a good name like that. So
especially if you're Dante's son, right?
That's correct. Right. Come on, live up to the expectations, Bo. But no, I think he's back. So that being said, hey, how about all of our Locked On hosts sending in the videos? Appreciate the instant reactions. You got some of them in the outdoor mobile studios, just putting in the time, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely. In fact, let's go to Gabby from Locked On Red Sox for her insight into this loss for the Red Sox.
What is going on with the Red Sox offense? Yet another dull offensive performance in the team's 2-1 extra innings loss versus the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Very frustrating game overall. This team just has not been able to get anything going offensively in this entire series so far. I don't know if it's the weather or what, but I know it's been super cold, but they have to get it together on offense. Tanner Houck did his job, looked really solid, had a pretty rough first inning. Part of that was due to the defense behind him, but overall I thought he pitched very well. I'm Gabby from Locked On Red Sox. To hear more on tonight's game and everything else going on with the Red Sox, subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts.
Gabby is not happy with that offensive performance. And in fact, it was offensive to her, it seems like.
Could be the weather.
That's right. Let's breeze through the rest of these. Brewers Rockies 17-2. What's there to be said, Jake?
That the Rockies are a very bad baseball team right now.
We were just talking about how great their stadium is, and their branding and their logos and their unis. Just put a good team on the field.
Team. Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, the Phillies and Braves finished up their series. Let's turn it over to Locked On Phillies for a little bit more insight.
Well, folks, I never said it was going to be easy. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. The Phils steal a win in Atlanta in Game 2 against the Braves. Some late-inning heroics from Bryce Harper and Trey Turner, both hitting huge home runs. The $300 million men coming up big for the Phillies. Jose Alvarado in the 9th. A little bit of a heart attack inning there, but hey, got the job done. Also a good batter in the 8th out of him. And really, the Phillies they fought their way to this one. They didn't have their best stuff at the plate. Taijuan Walker gave you good stuff on the mound. Another scoreless outing from him. They escaped with a win from a Taijuan Walker start for the second time this year, but it didn't feel like an escape based on the starting pitching. He deserves some credit. He'll get some tomorrow on the podcast. And tomorrow, the Phillies have a chance to win their fourth straight series if they can take down the Braves. We'll see what Jesus Luzardo has in store. Talk to you tomorrow on the next episode.
So there it is, Phillies and Braves. Phillies taking that one on the backs of their very expensive contracts, but that's what they get paid for, right? Hey, let's breeze through a couple of these here, Jake. The Twins versus the Royals. Joe Ryan pitches a gem, 7 scoreless, 4 strikeouts. And then can I just take a moment to talk about my Angels versus the Rays tonight?
You absolutely can. The floor is yours, my friend.
You know, they're playing in George Steinbrenner Field, the spring training facility for the Yankees, doing the Rays a favor. But they got that short porch, just like Yankee Stadium. And there was a short porch grand slam off Yusei Kikuchi. Later on, the Rays had another short porch solo home run. And so it was a frustrating night. The Angels stayed in it. They tried to fight back. Mike Trout came up with a chance to turn the game around, but he popped out to end the game. But I want to tell everybody here to get to know the name of Kyron Paris. He had a 2-homer game. And if you haven't heard of him before, you're going to want to know who Kyron Paris is because he's got Eiffel Tower power, Jake.
I love that. That is what you expect from John Frisch, ladies and gentlemen. Eiffel Tower power. That's amazing right there. And indeed he does. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Hey, we appreciate you being here for Locked On MLB Game Night. Jake, you know, we talk to our listeners. We call them our everydayers, but I got a pitch for you. You ready for this one?
Oh, I'm all ears.
How about for MLB Game Night, we call our listeners and viewers the night shift. What do you say?
I love that. The night owls, the night shift, working on the night shift.
Exactly.
Working on that night shift.
There you go. But hey, everybody.
Late with us.
Yeah, thank you for staying up late. And, you know, here on the West Coast, I got a little bit easier than Jake does. But he's Jake Riepma. I'm John Frisch. If you like the video, be sure you give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch our other hosts. We got Lindsey Crosby, Steve Went. We got so many great hosts here on Locked On MLB Game Night. So with that said, we appreciate you being here. Hopefully you got a little bit of love for your favorite team. Always appreciate our Locked On hosts for getting in on all the action. Again, thank you, and we'll see you back here for another edition of MLB Game Night.